When we talk about Inktober, we are often thinking about it in terms of black and white illustrations, which certainly isn't a bad thing considering that a lot of my favorite illustrations are just consisting of black and white. Artists like Kintaro Miura and Kim Jung-gi have always used black and white to make incredible illustrations and drawings. What both of these late great artists understood was how to use value. With properly studying value, you essentially have the cheat code for using any color that you want in your artwork and it coming out as something that's visually interesting. While I am trying to learn more about how to do black and white illustrations, and I've done some in the past, I still do prefer to work with some color, and today that's exactly what I'm doing. Inks just don't come in black, they come in all sorts of different colors, and that's what I'm showcasing here today. I'm Ayasuna and I make videos, more specifically art videos, and today I'm back again with another art process video using these gorgeous inks from Ferris Wheel Press. If you've been following me on TikTok and Instagram, I've used these inks quite a bit, and Ferris Wheel Press sent me these inks at the beginning of this year, and I still use them even despite not being sponsored anymore. In fact, if it weren't for these inks, I likely would have never came up with the character that you see here today that I intend to color. So if you don't know, Ferris Wheel Press is a stationery company that sells notebooks, journals, bags, fountain pens, and of course fountain pen ink. I swear I'm not sponsored anymore, but what sets these inks apart from the rest is that each ink, or really color, has a different story to tell. And the stories of the 3 inks that they gave me serves as inspiration for this character here. In fact, the 3 colors, Cabernet on a Lake, Malibu Blush, and Bookkeeper's Brass, all are focused on a specific location, which actually correlates quite well with this year's Inktober prompt list. Both Malibu Blush and Cabernet on a Lake are inspired by California's Malibu Beach, as well as the inland vineyards. Meanwhile, Bookkeeper's Brass is inspired by Tsusaya Books, a bookstore that has been in operation since 1983 in Japan. Apologies if I'm mispronouncing that name. These 3 inks make up the Curious Collaboration series, and they inspire my character here named Kyoko. At least that's her Japanese name. I might give her another alias for when she makes her journey. I felt like these inks told the story of a journey, so that's what I decided to go for with this character. Basically, she grew up with her father's bookstore and spent a lot of her childhood reading. Not just classical Japanese works, but she read books from all over the world, and she fell in love with horror stories from America. She was raised to be a polite socialite, but she found herself craving adventure. And eventually she leaves her father's bookstore and sets out on the said adventure. Now when I say horror, I usually mean urban legend type stuff, nothing too graphic, but still something interesting to learn about. I've already compiled a few urban legend stories that I want to use for this character, but if you have any of your own, then please let me know down in the comments. I think maybe what I'll do is either on a future stream, maybe tomorrow by the time that this goes up, or later this evening, I will probably go over some of these ideas that I had in my head. So if you're interested in that, then don't hesitate to follow my Twitch, twitch.tv/Ayasuna19. And I have a whole Discord too if you're into that type of horror stuff, so please don't hesitate to join if you're interested. Now part of me drawing this character today is because I want to establish a bit of a narrative theme for my Inktober prompts this year. I'm still following the original prompt list, by the way, except for my Poison Ivy drawing that I did last week. So my goal for future drawings of this character, they will be focused on a specific location. While I'm currently obsessed with this character, if this is something that you guys like, I might turn it into a webcomic, so stay tuned for that. Though I obviously need to figure out more about how I want to have certain characters, because there are a few other characters that I'm thinking about for this particular story. That is something I might make a future video on, or I might talk about it on live stream. It's like I have the vision, but the ideas are still a little hazy in my head. I still want it to be like an adventure story, but with some aspects of horror in it. But like nothing too graphic, since obviously I don't really know how to draw that. But that's not really the mood that I'm going for in this story. I like the dichotomy of someone seemingly so feminine being into such scary stories though, so I kind of want to play with that and make it a bit comedic in some places. Also, I like reading and learning about different places in the US as well as other places, so maybe I'll take this story more international, but for now I'm just focusing on places in the United States. For instance, I knew I wanted one volume or at least story to be based off the Queen Mary, a haunted ship off the coast of California. I'm thinking maybe that's the boat that she comes on to go to America, even though that's not the most historically accurate thing. I did want to borrow some things from that urban legend because I found the story to be quite entertaining, though some details of the story won't exactly be 100% accurate. I might change them as I see fit. I also kind of want to do a haunted story based off of New Orleans because I find that place one of the most interesting places that I ever been to, and of course of some family history that I have from there. I'm also thinking about doing one for the Wild West of some sort, but I haven't exactly figured out a story for that one either. What I think I'll do on my next stream is brainstorm some of those ideas. I might look up a bunch of different stories from that time period and see how I can work that into the plot. I did some research off stream, but I still want to involve the community in some of the decisions that I make, because this is a project for y'all and something that I want to have some input with. If you made it this far in me rambling about different haunted places, then you might as well drop a like, as well as subscribe to my channel. I want to change my approach on how I make content for this channel. I'll still talk about how art companies are maybe screwing over or helping artists, but I want to focus on my characters and my stories, so this video is sort of a change in that direction. As far as how inconsistent I can be with videos and live streams, I am still quite grateful for all the support that I have. And going into 2025, I have plans for a bunch of different ideas that I want to do either in video or on stream. So enough about me yapping about a half-baked story. Let's get into the process of what I'm actually doing here in this video. So like I said, I'm using the Ferris Wheel Press Fountain Pen ink. And basically what I'm doing here is a bunch of different ink washes with the 3 colors that I have. While these inks are mainly for calligraphy, these also really work well as far as illustrations are concerned. These dry quickly and don't really smudge, although I did make a small mistake towards the end of the video, which I wasn't exactly the most happiest about. But that's not on the inks themselves, it was just me being impatient. Basically, I would start out like I would if I were working with watercolors. I'd start with a washed out light layer, more water than ink, and then I would slowly build in with more details using less water and more ink with each wash. You can really tell the most here in the hair, as I was able to get darker shades as I went along. In this particular piece, I'm using my Reflections watercolor journal, but this technique will work with mixed media paper as well. As you can clearly see here, these inks are bright and quite vibrant. In fact, much of the ink that I used in today's piece was on my dried out palette, so with me just using a spray bottle to reactivate the inks, they were still quite vibrant. Though you can't really tell in this recording, both the Cabernet on the Lake as well as the Bookkeeper's Press have a slight shimmer effect to it, which I also think adds a nice touch. The Malibu blush dries flat, but it's still quite vibrant. I find it very fun to use with floral type drawings and illustrations. I probably could have showcased that a bit better in this particular piece, but I came up with a character design, so I kind of wanted to showcase it here. I did try to showcase it digitally on my last live stream, but that didn't really come out too well. I feel like it's better to showcase things in traditional for me, at least in my current skill level. With these particular colors, I do like how I can get certain shades with just by mixing. I didn't rely on any other colors other than the sketch that I made. Everything else that you see was made using these inks. Okay, I technically cheated. I did use my Daniel Smith dot card to add some pearlescent into the piece, but not too much, really just to 2 places. Also, sorry for some of the weird angles. I'm trying to do something different when it comes to recording, and this particular angle just didn't come out. But I didn't exactly want to cut this part from the video, so yeah, that's why it's like that here. I've been trying to figure out how I can live stream some traditional artwork as well, because I just don't want to rely on digital artwork. So I was sort of figuring out how to do a setup for that in this video, although obviously I didn't go live here. And maybe if I'm vintage or not, but I think I mentioned in a previous video that I wanted to do a Bob Ross stream, where I take one of my mini canvases and follow along with a tutorial of his. But again, that'll be after Inktober, so stay tuned for that. I'll likely make an announcement if I'm gonna do that stream or not. Like I also said in a previous video, I do want to focus on streaming more because I'm halfway to affiliate on Twitch, and it also helps me get watch hours up on YouTube as well. So hopefully when things clear down a bit, I can stream a bit more than I have been. But no guarantees, of course. I wanted this to be more of a chill video, so I didn't really want to talk too much longer, but there might be a few things that I point out along the way. At least in regards to this character or this piece. What I did want to mention is how far I could push these values with just the same 3 colors that I mentioned. It proves that you don't really need a whole lot of colors to make one cohesive piece. Now the paper that I'm using has a bit of a texture to it, so when I went to do the final line art, I was surprised to see that it didn't feather too much. Only on areas that were still kind of wet. As you can see, I sort of messed up on the lips there. But other than that, these inks are really easy to work with, albeit they do stain quite a lot, so be careful of that when you work with them. I like using these for both art as well as calligraphy, so if you're into that type of stuff, then don't hesitate to stay tuned for more videos, because I have a feeling I'll use these inks a lot for this particular character. This was the main color palette that I wanted to use, so yeah, you'll be seeing this quite a lot. And until my next video or live stream, take care and have a good night, morning, evening, wherever you are. Take care. Bye.